BTS, the story that changed the world. They've sold out stadiums across continents, broken every streaming record in sight, and stood on stages once thought impossible for an Asian act. BTS is more than a boy band. They are a revolution, a movement of music, message, and meaning. But how did 7 boys from Seoul go from small trainee rooms to standing on the stage of the United Nations? This is their story, the untold journey of BTS. Before the world called them BTS, they were just 7 young men, all with different backgrounds, but one dream to make music that matters. The leader, a prodigy rapper from underground scene. Suga, writing songs in his tiny Daegu bedroom, skipping meals to pay for studio time. J-Hope, a dancer with energy so bright, it lit up any room. Jin, a film student with no music training, yet heart and discipline unmatched. Jungkook, a teenage prodigy who turned down other big companies just to train under a small one. V, discovered by accident yet destined to be unforgettable. And Jimin, the perfectionist from Busan who pushed himself until he bled. They came together under Big Hit Entertainment, a company with almost no money, no reputation, just belief. They trained day and night, slept in one room, and faced the constant threat of failure. Most people didn't believe in them. Some laughed at the name, Bulletproof Boy Scouts. But even then they were preparing to defy expectations. June 13, 2013. 7 nervous boys stood behind the stage at M Countdown. The lights were bright, the cameras were rolling, and the world? The world wasn't watching. Their debut song, No More Dreams, was bold, defiant even. Why aren't you chasing your dreams? They asked. But in the K-pop world where perfect visuals and sweet love songs ruled, BTS looked like misfits. Baggy pants, rebellious lyrics, loud energy. Critics didn't get it. Some called them too noisy. Others said, who do they think they are? The song flopped on charts. Their company couldn't even afford big promotion. But backstage, something else was happening. Slowly a small number of fans started paying attention. Not because BTS were famous, but because they were real. They wrote their own lyrics. They shared their insecurities. They were raw, human, honest. BTS didn't explode overnight. In fact, they struggled for years. They were accused of being copycats. They were ignored by music shows. They faced cyberbullying vicious, non-stop. The members thought about quitting. In interviews, they later revealed, there were moments we thought it was over. But every time they considered giving up, they remembered the fans who believed in them. Even if it was just 10 people in the crowd. For them, BTS kept going. 2014, it had been a year since BTS debuted, and they still weren't winning music shows. But something was different. Their fanbase arm was growing. And not because of shiny packaging or viral trends, but because of the stories BTS told. With N.O. and Boy in Love, they spoke out against the education system. About pressure, identity, and teenage anxiety. And fans, especially young people, listened. They weren't perfect idols. They didn't pretend to be. Their choreography wasn't the cleanest. Their music wasn't formulaic, but it was theirs. They wrote, they produced, they spoke from the heart. Behind the scenes, they lived like underdogs. Sharing a small dorm, splitting cheap meals, fighting exhaustion. But every night, they practiced until 3 a.m. They'd record songs in closets with makeshift sound booths. They uploaded self-edited videos for their fans. Their work ethic wasn't just impressive. It was relentless. Slowly, the world started noticing. In 2015, BTS won their first music show award with I Need You. And that song changed everything. I Need You wasn't just a hit song. It was a turning point in K-pop. It was vulnerable. It didn't talk about fairy tale love or surface level heartbreak. It screamed pain, loneliness, youth falling apart. This was the beginning of the HYYH Arawa Yang Ian. Wa, or the most beautiful moment in life. BTS started telling the story of growing up, of losing your way, of holding on, with Run, Butterfly, and Young Forever. They crafted not just albums, but a universe. Music videos linked together, storylines unfolded across eras. It became art-layered, meaningful, cinematic. But more than anything, it felt real. Fans saw themselves in the lyrics. Don't be afraid. It's okay to cry. You're not alone. These weren't just words. For many, they were a lifeline. BTS had become more than a group. They were a voice. And that voice was getting louder. In 2016, BTS released Wings, an album about temptation, loss, and growth. Inspired by literature, layered with symbols. Every member had a solo Every track showed evolution. It topped charts in Korea and started breaking into Billboard charts overseas. But they were just getting started. In 2017, they launched the Love Yourself trilogy. 3 albums: Her, Tear, and Answer. About the journey to self-love. It was bold, philosophical, healing. The title track DNA was their first real U.S. breakthrough. That same year, they won Top Social Artist at the Billboard Music Awards. The first K-pop group to do so. The crowd erupted, and backstage, they cried. Not because they had made it, but because they knew it was just the beginning. BTS wasn't following the path of other K-pop acts. They were building their own, and the world was listening. September 24, 2018. BTS walks into the United Nations General Assembly. The room is full of diplomats, government leaders, media, and 7 young men in suits. As steps up to the podium, the room falls silent. Then, he begins. My name is Kim Namjoon. I am BTS. And I am an idol from South Korea. For the next 6 minutes, he speaks not as a performer, but as a human being. He talks about childhood, about shame, about learning to love yourself. His voice shakes a little, but it's honest. I've made many mistakes in my life. I have many faults, but I'm going to embrace myself as hard as I can. And I'd like to ask all of you, what is your name? Speak yourself. In that moment, BTS became more than musicians. They became messengers of self-love, of mental health awareness, of youth empowerment. The Love Myself campaign with UNICEF would raise millions. And it wasn't just about donations. It was about hope. From Seoul to Paris, from London to Los Angeles, BTS took over the World Light Rally. With their Love Yourself and Speak Yourself world tours, they sold out stadiums once reserved only for Western superstars. In 2020, they released Dynamite, their first full English language track. It hit #1 on the Billboard Hot 100, the first for any all-Korean group. That year, they performed at the Grammys. The same show that once ignored K-pop now had BTS front and center. The world no longer saw them as just Korean artists. They were global artists. They appeared on Time's cover, spoke with world leaders, and in the middle of a global pandemic, their music became comfort for millions stuck at home. BTS wasn't just in the charts. They were in people's hearts. Behind the lights, the stages, and the sound, there are 7 very real people. The leader, philosopher, and translator of hearts. Jin the eldest, the hidden backbone with unmatched warmth. Suga quiet, sharp, and emotionally profound. J-Hope sunlight in human form, a dancer with discipline. Jimin the perfectionist, always putting others first. V the unpredictable artist with a soul full of color. Jungkook the youngest, but often the strongest. They are more than performers. They are brothers. They argue. They laugh. They cry. They hold each other up. And through every era, they've stayed one thing above all. Together. In 2022, BTS announced a temporary pause in group activities. Not a breakup, not an ending, but a time for individual growth. Jin, J-Hope, and Suga began military service. Others launched solo projects, each one revealing new sides of themselves. Fans cried, but they also understood. Because this isn't goodbye. BTS will return in 2025. Bolder, wiser, stronger, and the world will be waiting. In their absence, their legacy only grows. BTS showed us that dreams can come true. That music can change lives. That you don't need to speak the same language to understand someone's heart. From a small company with no money, to the biggest stage in the world, BTS didn't just break records. They broke barriers. They didn't chase fame. They chased meaning. In a world full of noise, they chose to speak from the soul. And millions listened. BTS is not just a band. They are a moment in history. A reminder that kindness, passion, and honesty can take you farther than anyone ever believed. To the world, they're BTS. To ARMY, their family. And to the future, they are proof that legends are made, not born.